DJ, PK, and Brian Geltzeiler, SiriusXM NBA radio host and NBAtv contributor, joins us. Brian, good morning, except in New York, where I believe they consider this a great morning, a fantastic morning, an unreal morning.
Good morning, guys. Heck of a basketball game last night, huh?
I'd say so. In terms of a critical analysis of it, where do you start?
Well, all right. So, listen, I thought the Knicks played the worst defensive half of basketball. They maybe played all season. Forget about the playoffs. They maybe played all season. The lack of attention to detail in the first half was galling. The way that their weak side defenders were, leaning into the paint a little too much and not closing out aggressively on the Spurs shooters, they got punished very badly for them. I mean, the volume. I actually think Vassell just hit another open three. I mean, they just kept them wide open the entire half, and again, it was all in the name of chipping on Wemby, but that didn't even work well. Like, it was a disgusting display of defense by the New York Knicks in the first half. Whatever they talked about in the locker room, the adjustments they made, number one, they cut off all the Spurs driving lanes. Keep in mind, Spurs 76 points in the first half, 30 points in the second half. Okay, they sealed them on driving lanes, all right, and they closed out on shooters on the weak side. And that took advantage of the Spurs' immaturity, because the number one reason the San Antonio Spurs are down 3-1 in the series, and we can give the Knicks all their flowers, okay? But they also have won 2 games by 1 point apiece. That took catastrophic mental errors from the San Antonio Spurs to get the Knicks those wins. The number one reason the San Antonio Spurs are losing the series 3-1 right now is for the volumes of time that they forget that they have Victor Wembanyama on their team on the offensive end of the floor. And you have guys taking one-pass threes. Champagny had a 3 towards the end of the third quarter. I tweeted this out at the time, guys. You keep taking those kinds of threes in transition, and it led to a long rebound and an easy Brunson transition layup. You keep taking those kinds of threes, you're going to get a Knicks an engraved invitation to be back in the game. And that is exactly what happened. It was a mental and emotional meltdown for the San Antonio Spurs. A lot of that is on that coaching staff. It really is. And I think Mitch Johnson's done a fantastic job throughout these playoffs. I do not think he did a fantastic job last night in the second half of that game. Misuse of timeouts. I didn't think Harper was in there for enough minutes at certain points in time. Just a gross lack of discipline. Here's the other thing. Okay, they did such a good job in Game 3 of harassing Jalen Brunson and bringing the ball up the floor, with Castle and Harper doing that. Can somebody on that side explain to me that you ended up with Vassell and Champagny spending so much time on Brunson in the fourth quarter? And listen, Mike Brown, I give him all the credit in the world, and I thought he was going to do this with either McBride or Alvarado, whoever was playing better. McBride was terrible, so he did it with Alvarado. He actually had an extra ball handler on the floor and sacrificed shooting to be able to help Brunson out, getting the ball up the floor if he needed it, and he didn't need it. Here's the other thing. How is OG Anunoby able to get the open looks he's getting when the Knicks played the majority of the fourth quarter with 2 non-shooters on the floor with Hart and Alvarado? And I know Alvarado did hit a 3 late. Alvarado was terrific down the stretch of that game. But you can't exploit the Knicks better than that and have 2 non-shooters and load up on Brunson and Anunoby. I just thought the Spurs, the meltdown emotionally and mentally went from the coaching staff directly to the roster, to the players. And De'Aaron Fox, who's supposed to be the veteran influence, with the mistake of mistakes, not dribbling that ball out. Listen, OG had 3 transition blocks over the last 2 games. He thought he had a good 3 steps ahead of him. Just the fact that OG was even in the backcourt with him would have indicated dribble the ball out and make him chase you. He could listen, if he got away from Anunoby, he could have killed the entire rest of the clock, and the Spurs win that game. So it was a variety of things, but that's kind of my synopsis, boys.
Sure.
I thought it was brilliant. And you always think that smart people, whenever you identify, that person's really smart, you can always go back and, that's because they agree with you. And I agree with everything you just said. You just checked out so many boxes. PK and I were looking at each other and nodding like, yep, we've talked about that this morning. Yep. I thought that whoever lost, with about 2 minutes to go, and I think it was right after an atrocious turnover by Fox, just floating the ball back into the middle of the court at midcourt, which I did in the 9th grade and got pulled from the game for. Yep. And then Hart blew the layup at the other end and didn't make him pay for it. I thought whoever loses this game is going to rue the dozens of blatant mistakes that have been made, and whoever wins will just forget about that and go, whew, got out of there with a W, thank goodness. it was entertaining basketball, but it was super sloppy, and both teams had stretches where they were atrocious. And I think you just checked a lot of those boxes for both those teams.
Yeah, and listen, Hart should be thanking his lucky stars, okay?
Yeah.
Josh Hart, you know what? Go buy OG Anunoby an expensive watch, okay? Because when he was able, he took Hart off the griddle. Because you talked about the missed layup. How about the missed box out on Castle and he had a foul?
Yeah.
And that's not Josh Hart. Josh Hart he's one of the best rebounding wings in the league. And that's just a for lack of a better term, a brain fart at the worst possible time. And Castle, second-year player, 21 years old, goes to the free throw line in that atmosphere in Madison Square Garden and drains those 2 free throws like they're nothing. And I want to go back to that point for this reason, guys, because, listen, this series is still 3-1, okay?
Checking another box.
The Knicks have to win a 4th game to win the NBA championship. 2 of those games, I'm going to go back to it again, were 1-point victories. Castle was unflappable in that spot. This whole notion, and you're hearing it from a ton of Knicks fans this morning, that the Knicks somehow permanently broke the Spurs last night. If the Knicks believe that, that is a very naive thing to believe. This is a mentally tough team that is new to this scene, but they are not going to give in. Did you see some clown last night threw an egg and hit Victor Wembanyama in the head walking into his hotel after the game last night? Okay, all right. Did you see how Wembanyama reacted? He didn't. He just kept walking. This team. The Spurs are going to come out angry, determined, focused, and I think they could beat the Knicks by double digits in Game 5, and you come back to the Garden 3-2 for a Game 6. I am not shoveling dirt on the San Antonio Spurs in any way, shape, or form right now. They're too talented. They're too good. They are in this spot in this series because they haven't been smart, and that's something that I think gets improved on. This I can promise you. Today's a travel day. Tomorrow, the Spurs will assemble at their facility, and I can promise you one guy will spend some time talking to that entire team about their mindset and where they need to be going into Game 5, and that'll be Greg Popovich, because he's going to try to impart some of his experience that he's had over the years in these spots to some of these guys, and he will get a captive audience from this group. I don't think the Spurs are mentally weak in spite of blowing that lead last night. I think that they made a mountain of mistakes. They got away from what they were doing well, and they got away from what their strength is, which is running everything through their big guy, no matter what area of the floor. I don't even care if he has it on the perimeter. They just have to run everything through the big guy. They got away from him once again for long stretches. And then when they went back to him, he played nervous. And one guy that we haven't mentioned yet, and we have to mention, is Karl Anthony Towns, who I think I don't even look at his box score. What he is able to do defensively and has done against Wembanyama in this series is another major reason the Knicks are up 3-1. And in the second half last night, he did a super job guarding him. The Spurs had him in foul trouble and did not attack in the second half. The game changes when Towns goes to the bench. Mitchell Robinson hasn't guarded Wembanyama close to as well as Towns has. Anunoby really can't do it either, although he's doing the best he can. When he does, the Spurs they should have absolutely been pounding the ball to Wembanyama with Towns on him, trying to get Towns over to the bench. The other thing that's important, Karl Towns on that inbound, and give Mike Brown credit for putting his 7-footer on the inbounder. Dylan Harper's pass, that, by the way, if Towns doesn't tip that pass, Castle's got a alley-oop layup to win that
look
game.
like it, yeah.
The play worked, guys. The back screen was set. Robinson didn't get through it, and Castle was alone. Towns got a hand on that pass. Because he got a hand on that pass, Hart was able to catch up in the switch. And to me, listen, that kind of stuff I think is absolutely crucial here. The Spurs were that close to being able to win that game, and that's something that they have to take with them to go over to Game 5 in San Antonio on Saturday night.
The one thing that there's several, but one thing that did bother me, and I've seen this repeatedly, is that the teams get casual offensively, right? Obviously, in the first half, they were blistering hot. Good for them. But the reality is that that's hard to sustain for 48 minutes, because if you do, you're going to win by 50, and we rarely see that, right? And so I didn't, and we've talked about this, DJ and I didn't like settling for threes, particularly early in the shot clock in the second half. Find a way then, if it's 29, instead of going to the lead I'm talking about, instead of going to 49, how about go to 39? And I just don't like the settling, I think, is the word I would use for threes the entire game. If you had a stretch, good for you. But maybe look, and I think you alluded to it, get offense running through the big man, get better shot selection. If for no other reason, that's going to take more time off the clock, and the clock is your ally in that point. So I have to criticize the shot selection by and large in the second half because I didn't think it allowed the Spurs to really put their feet on the Knicks' throat.
No, I think it's a great point. And listen, the concept that I go to and I think about here, and it's not just in NBA basketball. You see this concept on every level. I see it with my son in AAU and high school basketball. The concept of the heat check, guys. Mm-hmm. The concept of a hot shooter that thinks because he's a hot shooter, he can take whatever shots he wants. Most times, that's not good. That works against a team and against team basketball. The Spurs had several heat check guys that hit a bunch of threes in the first half. Harper, Vassell, Champagny, and they took some bad shots in the second half. That whole concept of the heat check is very, very damaging and normally happens when you have a big lead. And normally when everybody gets going on a heat check and decides they're going to take bad shots, it invites the losing team back into the game, as it did with the Knicks last night. And that was a big thing. Here's the second thing that it's important to understand also, guys. You know, the art of tempo control has been lost somewhere along the lines here. When you are up in a game like that, part of playing an intellectually smart and winning basketball game is knowing when to run and knowing when to walk, knowing when to walk the ball up the floor, knowing when to understand that using 18 to 20 seconds of a shot clock has a net benefit for you in the third quarter of a game that you're up 29 points. Don't start to play fast and loose and feel full of yourself. Humility is so important on a basketball court. One of the reasons I invoked Popovich earlier on, it's Greg Popovich has an old saying about your mentality when you play basketball. He calls it an appropriate level of fear. And I think the Spurs lost they didn't have enough fear. They didn't understand the discipline that they had to continue to play with once shots didn't fall. It was almost like once shots aren't falling. Like it's a classic example, live by the three, die by the three. But here's the thing about the Spurs last night. They didn't have to die by the three. When you have Victor Wembanyama on your team, you don't ever have to die by the three. And they died by the three.
There are people who believe that fatigue has been a major problem for the Spurs, that they played a 7-game conference final that was super intense, while meanwhile the Knicks were blowing through a sweep that looked like it was over at some point during Game 2. And that the Spurs' only win in the NBA Finals so far has come when there were 3 days between games, from Friday to Monday, from Game 2 to 3. And that now it's going to be 3 days till the game on Saturday, 3 days till Tuesday, 3 days till Friday, and that this is going to be a major plus from the Spurs. The facts are what they are. Are you buying that they're going to be able to capitalize on these facts, this schedule, and this bonus rest that the schedule is giving them?
Certainly for Game 5, yes. I think there's something to that. I do. First of all, and I think there's something to that for this reason. I think you could make the case that fatigue cost them Game 1. They ran out of steam down the close of Game 1. Number 2, let's not forget Victor Wembanyama right now is playing more minutes than he's ever played in his entire basketball career. They played him 44 minutes last night, and I'm not faulting Mitch Johnson. It's all hands on deck. This is the NBA Finals. This is the time that you play him and you run him that way. But what's happened to him, which is interesting, is the energy he has to expend guarding Karl Anthony Towns makes him a less effective help defender. And that's a really important factor here. And that's why Knicks fans went crazy over what happened a minute into the game where Mitch Johnson, which I thought was an insane replay, but give him credit, it worked. But he challenged a call, a Towns-Wembanyama call that really could have gone either way. I don't think the refs got it so terribly wrong in the way Knicks fans. I actually thought the first foul on Towns was a worse call, was a touch foul that didn't need to be called in the first possession of the game. That one could have gone either way. But the important point in all that is what it takes out of Wemby to have to guard Towns on the perimeter and then be what I like to call Brunson's mid-range shadow. He was SGA's mid-range shadow in the OKC series, but he's so helpful to the guy on the ball because he's just he doesn't have to get that close to be a presence on guys like Brunson and SGA in the mid-range. And that, to me, has been the single reason that Brunson has had some struggles in this series. And listen, he was excellent the second half last night. There's no two ways about it. But he's played more bad quarters than good in this series, and that's been a big reason for it. But I also think having Wembanyama have to do all of that does wear him down a little bit. The extra day of rest, I think is huge for Wemby right now when he's in uncharted territory in terms of the amount of minutes that he's had to play. And listen, the Knicks look fresh as a daisy right now. Why do they look fresh as a daisy? They had the benefit of 2 8-game vacations in the middle of the playoffs. And by the way, it's not a gift, boys. They earned it. They swept teams. They had their foot on teams' throats, and they pressed down and finished them off. They earned that stuff, and you earn that stuff because it's a net benefit now at this stage of the playoffs. So I do think, yes, I think the fatigue thing becomes a little more equalized with the extra day off. I mean, there is something to that. And I will tell you guys this, and I know Knicks fans are going to think I'm insane. I'd be surprised if the Spurs don't win by double digits on Saturday night. I really do, and I think we're coming back for Tuesday night Game 6 at Madison Square Garden.
I'll throw a Jazz question at you. Bill Simmons got that Boston connection with the Angels in Boston, obviously, with their history there. And he's talking about he thinks they're going to draft Boozer. What do you think?
So, listen, on one hand, I think the Jazz should not worry about what position to draft and just draft the best player possible. Here's the one thing that I take pause at. And Cameron Boozer is going to be an excellent NBA player. And I think it's almost a lazy comparison to compare him to his father because his father never had the perimeter game that he has, was never the passer or the ball handler that Cam Boozer is. Here's my issue with taking Cam Boozer in that spot. You're leaving 2 superior athletes on the board. And you're seeing it now, guys. It's as good as a guy like Jalen Brunson is, and he's incredible. OG Anunoby showed you what a high-end premium athlete could do last night in a big spot, okay? And that was an incredibly athletic play. Here's what I'm saying to you. If you have a guy that combines the skill and athleticism, to me, that's always going to be more valuable and have more upside than getting a guy that has the skill level. And don't get me wrong, Boozer's not a bad athlete. He's a very good athlete. But Dabonsa, who probably won't be there, Caleb Wilson, Darren Peterson, they're all better athletes. They all are. And that's my concern there. That's my one concern with taking Boozer. Do I think Boozer's going to be a very good NBA player? I do. Do I think Boozer's going to be a superstar? Probably not. Do I think any one of those other 3 guys, and maybe 2 of those other 3 guys, could be superstars? I do. I believe that. And that's where I think that maybe if they do that, they're going to make a mistake. But here's the other thing I'm going to say regarding what Simmons had to say about that. And I listen to every Simmons podcast. I'm an enormous Bill Simmons fan, as you guys know. We're getting to the draft. So today is the 11th. The draft's in 12 days. All right, we're very close to getting to Danny Ainge lying time, okay, where Danny Ainge will not tell the truth as you get closer. Danny will float rumors out there of guys he's interested in to see who may come up behind him and say, hey, we want that guy. Maybe we'll give you something for him. Danny is the master, okay, of floating smoke screens this time of year. No one is better, okay? He pulled it with Tatum. He bluffed that whole draft and ended up getting an extra pick and trading out of number 1 when he was with Boston and got Tatum at 3. Danny's brilliant this time of year. So what I would say about all the Boozer buzz, and I'm hearing it too, take it with a grain of salt. And I understand that Danny's not the only decision maker there, but Austin, he comes from Danny's loins, boys, okay? And he's got the same type of instincts on what he's going to do, Austin Ainge. So I would caution that not to buy too far into the Boozer narrative. There's a big groundswell of Boozer support league-wide to be a top 2 pick in this draft. I think Danny's leaning into it a little bit to see if potentially it can net the Jazz some extra assets.
You may have crossed paths with Walt Perrin when he was working in New York. He was in Utah working for Kevin O'Connor. Did a lot of scouting. We rarely saw him during the season, but they would always run him out to do the media stuff leading up to the draft. And every time they do a workout, Kevin O'Connor would make the players available and make Walt available, even if Kevin wasn't. And Walt would get asked all the time about the draft and reports, and he would just look at him. Liars Club is in session. He wouldn't wait for 2 weeks. He was right. Like 5 weeks before the draft. Liars Club is in session. What you hear might be true, but it might not be anywhere near the truth.
Who in their right mind is leaking the truth right now as you get this close to the draft, especially a draft where these top 4 picks are so incredibly valuable because of the players that are going to be taken. And listen, Danny Ainge, as far as the rest of these team presidents and general managers are concerned, Danny Ainge wrote that book. He did. He's the master of it. So I would, again, take all of it with a grain of salt. I'd even take it with a grain of salt at the top of the draft. I mean, you're hearing a lot of Wizards buzz that DeBonsa's going to be the guy. And maybe he is, and maybe he isn't. We have to see kind of what shakes out there, too. But I think you're getting there's definitely a lot of false information that's being floated in the thought of maybe motivating some teams to try to look to see to offer something. One thing I will say about this draft, guys, you may see some movement within the top 4 in terms of trading. No one is trading out of the top 4 of this draft. It will not happen.
I don't think I can find a draft where the top 4 guys, if you redrafted, were the top 4 guys. But is that going to happen this time? Are they really? There are no busts in the top 4? These 4 are all legit?
I don't think you're going to get a bust in this top 4. I know what people are saying about Darren Peterson. The people that are saying what they're saying about Darren Peterson haven't watched him long enough. Even with what happened in Kansas this year, he averaged over 20 points a game. He is as smooth a guard as we've seen come into this league since Kobe Bryant. And he can pass, he can shoot, he can guard. And I tell you, and I've told you guys this before, my partner Sam Mitchell coached him 3 different summers in AAU, knows Darren and his family very well. He will tell you straight out there is zero concern regarding Darren Peterson's competitive spirit. I know we heard the whole creatine thing and the cramping, and I think there was some of that was true. I think maybe it was dramatized a little bit, but I also think that he got an agent in his ear, and which let him know that this is a tune-up for much bigger money coming in the NBA, and you don't want to take any risk to knock you from the ability to be the number 1 overall pick in this draft. And I think that crept into his mentality too much. Listen, I didn't like that in the respect that Kansas paid plenty of money for him too. So, like, he owed them something there as well. My point being is I do think that so much of this with Peterson is overblown, and I think you can end up in a scenario where, these 4 guys all end up within 5 years being on one of the top 3 All-NBA teams. I think that there's all 4 of them have the potential to be that good.
He's Brian Geltzeiler. You hear him on SiriusXM NBA Radio, and you see him on NBAtv. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Always, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
DJ and PK, everything you missed in this show next. Stay with us.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeCoux.
Come on, this is a guy that fully admitted that he had gambled. He had over $90,000 worth of bets, many including games that he was playing in, teams that he was on, teams that he had insight into game plans, and the injunction is granted. You will see Brandon Sorsby unless an appeal is made, and they're banking on the fact that this injunction will remain in effect until something can happen, and that won't be until after the season is over. So Brandon Sorsby may be playing college football, folks.
The problem in a nutshell is this. We've done this to ourselves.
Oh, yeah. This is self-inflicted.
We have absolutely done this to ourselves. It is in a thirst for right now we got to win because everybody's in an arms race and everybody's trying to compete so hard and we've lost our frickin' way.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
That sound could mean a lot of things. And when something's going wrong at home, the hardest part can be figuring out what the problem actually is. At Thumbtack, you can upload a voice message or a photo, and our AI-powered search will help diagnose your project. Plus, the pros we know have over 14 million 5-star reviews, so you can hire with confidence. Thumbtack, we know homes. Hire the right pro today.
Hands back to Brunson, center court logo. Right wing, matched up with Castle. 3 to shoot. Brunson to the foul line. Pulls up for a floater. Front rim and in. And the Knicks have their first lead with 1:22 to go in the fourth quarter. 5.7 left. No timeouts remaining. Anunoby is handed the ball. Finds Brunson at midcourt. Launches a straight-on 3. Missed it short. Tip by Anunoby. He put it in. Anunoby put it in. The Knicks take the lead with 1.2 to go. Anunoby it's not over. Out of nowhere. Bridges on Vassell. Hart on Castle. Robinson on Wembanyama. Pass toward the middle. Caught by Castle. Dropped by Castle. His shot is blocked by Hart. And the New York Knicks just pulled off the biggest comeback win in NBA Finals history. From down 29, they take a 3-1 series lead, stunning the Spurs 107-106.
Slacker Radio headlines are brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 1-855-TRAJAN1 or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good, deep, and guttural, PK.
They're the best.
Are the Knicks the best? Or are you buying what Brian Geltzeiler just told us? It ain't over yet. This could still be messed up.
Oh, I think so. It's not the first of three. It's not 3-0. You win Game 5, it's a series again. Lose Game 5, I believe the series is over.
Thank you for that analysis.
I'd like to argue with that, but that's a fact.
Well, obviously if they lose, the series is literally over. But I do think it's a series again. Now, it's not just, they go to Game 6. No, that's not the point I'm making. If they win Game 5, I see no reason why they can't win Game 6. So when I say it's a series again, I mean literally, obviously it is. But what I mean is that at that point, I would go 60-40 Knicks because they only have to win one and the others have to win two. But then if you get to Game 7, then I'm probably going 60 Spurs. So things can change. So the Knicks, they're nice. And yeah, I think you have to acknowledge the complexions of the games. The Knicks deserve all the credit in the world, but the fact is they've had two incredible wins. One was sort of standard, and you could say, that's because the Spurs were tired. If you want to go down that road, fine. I won't object to it. So they were able to get a game based on scheduling. That, as Brian pointed out, the Knicks had the right to get that because they swept and you went 7. So that's on you, not anybody else. It's not on the league. It's not on anybody but yourselves. And you could argue, that's because Oklahoma City was better competition. I understand that. That's all true. But nevertheless, that went 7 games and the Knicks had time off. Well, that's going to wash at some point, and I think we're there now with the days off and so forth. So I still think this has a chance to be a 7-gamer.
The one thing we have not talked about, and we've hit a lot of topics, and Brian Geltzeiler hit a lot of them there, we haven't talked about the fact that Wemby picked up another flagrant foul, is now flirting with an automatic suspension with one more.
And that's why he won't get it.
Unless they have to, he does something so blatant.
If he cold cocks someone.
I thought that...
But swinging an elbow, you can argue, that's incidental to the play. I'd have to see it, but I'm not going to believe it until I do see it.
I thought that in Game 3 they could have given one, but they didn't want him to walk him right up to the edge, as you just pointed out. So they let that one go, but there was no way to let the one last night go. And I didn't think that it was, mean-spirited and intentional, trying to hurt somebody.
Crazy. I can't even remember it.
It just
happened.
My memory. He got it. He brought his arm up underneath, and his elbow caught the bottom of Towns' jaw.
He was trying to clear space, and
so much happened. I get it.
Right.
But it was an incidental thing. But now you're one away in an incidental thing. They couldn't ignore that. It was too blatant, even though it wasn't intentional. I do think he's hit a lot of people in the head. I mean, Karl Malone hit a lot of people in the head and face. Isaiah kind of looked like
I've been smacked in the head a time or two myself. He
lined Isaiah up. Joe Klein leaned in, and honestly,
Joe Klein, huh? Wow, now we're way go.
He asked for it. David Robinson, I don't think you knew he was there. But
Did
that's
you
a
watch
lot of
Father's
guys.
Knows Best last night? That was a great show. Great episode.
That was a lot of guys. And
How about the Love Boat?
I don't think I even named them all. And Wembanyama, that's a whole career. Wembanyama's done it all in one postseason.
Oh, man. Tonight, I'm really going to enjoy the Lawrence Welk show.
Quit smacking guys in the head.
Don't get me started.
Joe Klein?
Lawrence Welk.
Yeah. He bloodied Joe Klein.
Joe Klein.
Yeah, he did. It's a guy hit in the head. Of course, Klein leaned in with his face and asked for it.
What century was that?
The 20th. As was most of Carl's career, as you know.
Joe Klein.
Yeah, you bring up Carl at the free throw line, it's fine. I bring up Carl's elbows, no.
No, you brought up Joe Klein. You didn't bring up...
That's the guy he hit.
Okay, but
I only brought him up because Carl hit him in the face.
Right, I bring up Malone because he'll always be relevant here. You brought up Joe Klein.
Because Carl hit him in the face, and it'd be relevant here because one by
Okay, but
hitting
David
people in the face.
Robinson, not Joe Klein.
I did bring up David Robinson.
And stick with
and
that.
I brought up Isaiah Thomas.
And
the point is there's a whole list.
No, not Joe Klein. I'm sorry.
Joe Klein's
Nobody
face.
knows who Joe Klein is.
Joe Klein's
People
face
know who
doesn't
was
matter.
Isaiah Thomas and David Robinson. If you want to go way back, which you're prone to do, I'm fine with that. But not Joe Klein.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Because everybody who was alive then as a Jazz fan can remember. But there's no one outside of you who remembers the elbow to Joe Klein. No one.
Joe Klein remembers it.
He's not on our listenership. We're not getting paid whether Joe Klein
don't know
listens to us or not.
They're listening to us. We're global now, baby.
Joe Klein is not listening to us. I guarantee you. I'm not even sure Joe Klein is alive.
Oh, he's alive.
Don't ever bring up a Joe Klein reference again.
Doing it in the next segment.
I hope this weekend I'm going to see the Mamas and Papas in concert.
You are not. They're dead.
The Michelle Williams is not dead. She's 82, but she's not dead. She could do it solo. I stopped into a church. I passed along the way. Well, I got down on my knees. And I began to pray.
Anything else you'd like to say about the game? Victor Wembanyama, quit hitting guys in the head.
I think that if the Spurs can get intensity to the manner that I saw Joe Klein do it, I think they got a shot. Because you want to talk intensity, Joe Klein was the guy.
All the leaves and rain. And the sky is great. We have Texas Tech news.
Yes, we do.
Interrupting the Mamas, Papas, and Joe Klein to bring you Texas Tech news.
California dreaming, man. Albeit we're
It's
going
a classic.
To, yeah,
It is
I
a
know.
classic.
We're going to the Lone Star State, though. But the Office of Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has now sent a letter to the Big 12. It states that any sanctions against Texas Tech over the Brendan Sorsby situation would be treated as, quote, unlawful and would lead to legal action. So they've got the AG working on their behalf.
We want to win, and you're telling me some Fort Worth judge wasn't in on it either.
No, we got
Now the
Who's been
Attorney General
retired for
thing.
20 years.
Where did the Attorney General go to school?
Doesn't matter.
Sure it does.
No, it doesn't.
It'd be awesome
It's
if
from
he went to
Texas.
Texas Tech.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but a lot of people in Texas, there's a lot of jealousy inside of Texas. Texas
No.
is big. Yes.
Yak, did you ever live in Seattle?
No.
Did you ever live in San Francisco?
No.
Who's your favorite baseball team?
Seattle Mariners.
Who's your favorite football team?
San Francisco 49ers.
It don't matter.
It does matter.
It's emotions. You latch
there's a
on to
lot of
something
emotions,
for
isn't
whatever reason, and away you go. Plus, it makes yourself look good. Oh, I'm going to be tough guy against little 5'2" who weighs himself every day, Brett Yormark.
He weighs himself every day.
He told us that.
All right, so
As if a lot of people don't step on a scale every day.
But he's the one who thought it was newsworthy
I
to
step
tell
on a
us.
scale every day.
I thought I was right on this initially, and I was. So Ken Paxton graduated from Baylor with his undergrad,
Aha.
his Juris Doctorate, University of Virginia.
His
Okay.
Juris Doctorate. He got a Juris Doctorate from the University of Virginia. Friggin' Thomas Jefferson. I've been to the University of Virginia. I walked the campus. Me and Bronco, we share memories of my 24 hours in
a song
Charlottesville.
that's as old as that Mama's and Papa's California
but
Dream.
not nearly as good. That's
true.
You
By a
brought up the
mile.
Joe Klein equivalent of music.
I did, actually.
You're having a bad segment.
That is Joe Klein to David Robinson right there. That is. California Dreamin' has memories by a couple of NBA titles and roughly 20,000 points.
Yeah, it's what we call as a classic. Now what are we playing?
Something isn't quite as classic.
More Mamas and Papas.
More Mamas and Papas, but it's not classic.
I don't. I
Okay.
think I'm familiar with the tune. Outside of California Dreamin', my catalog on the Mamas and Papas.
It's really that. And then
Pretty
like
limited.
they're Monday.
Oh, okay, yeah. Gotcha.
Those two are their
Right.
most
That's
famous.
it? They're two-hit wonders?
Yeah.
Well, I was like, what other ones can you think of?
None.
I got nothing.
I can't, but I'm not a good
But you
I'm
brought
not
up.
a good
I
test
remember
for
who we
that.
brought up that got us on.
No, I figure he knows, yeah.
Who did we bring up? Who did he bring up that got us on this topic?
Joe Klein.
Joe Klein. That's who it was.
Stay with us. Come on, Yak.
Well, I couldn't remember. I was like, how do we even get off on
And
this?
that's amazing because Joe Klein is unforgettable.
Unforgettable.
Joe
That's
Klein.
what you are.
That's
Unforgettable.
Nat King Cole, the greatest singer of all time.
Yes. I'm butchering it, but, whatever. And the Mamas and Papas can't be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with just 2 hits. They got to have more.
Are they in it?
They are.
Wow, good for
They
them.
got inducted in 98.
Maybe it was such an overwhelming hit. The velo on that hit was incredible.
Robert Horry, just a couple of big shots, and you got the nickname, and you're good to go.
I wouldn't have thought they'd be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I once had an intense discussion with a certain football coach, the best band not to be in the Hall of Fame.
And what's that?
He came up with Jethro Tull. So then, of course, I have to come up with 2 or 3 others for the sake of argument.
Who'd you come up with?
Man, I don't remember. This is going back. I think I said Thin Lizzy. I can't remember.
Okay.
I mean, this is several years ago, but it killed a half hour texting each other. It's clearly in the off season.
One note on this with Ken Paxton is he is running for U.S. Senate in Texas, and this could be a way to,
Duh.
Don't mess with Texas.
Duh.
I support Texas
He's
Tech.
going police right now. I don't know whether to keep singing songs.
No, I'm not.
Da-da-da-da.
Not intent.
All I want to say.
But it was more duh than da.
Okay.
If I slipped into the genre of da, that was my mistake. I meant more duh.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to talk about besides Texas Tech and the NBA Finals? Got a Stanley Cup final tonight. See what Game 5 holds for us. It feels like a letdown after Game 4 of the NBA Finals. That was quite the adrenaline rush, even though there was some horrific basketball being played. It was wildly entertaining
Well,
and
I
competitive.
would want to see maybe one of these teams can come down from 10 goals.
Nice. We've seen a bunch of blown 2-goal leads. Maybe someone can blow a 3 or 4-goal lead.
Well, the nature of the game, I don't know that it's really a blown.
Vegas almost did it. They were up 4-0, and then it went to OT, but Vegas won, so they got out of there.
Yeah, I feel bad for Bryce Eldridge, though. He's the youngest player of all time to hit a walk-off grand slam, and he's just not getting
overlooked. He's getting overlooked. The Giants were down to the Nats 9-1. Came back to win 11-10. 5 in the 8th, 5 in the 9th, and his grand slam in the 9th, walked it off and won it. Shohei Ohtani, you sent him down to Oklahoma City to the minors. His ERA went from 0.74 to 1.06. He gave up 4 runs, 3 earned. Dodgers lose to Pittsburgh 9-8.
We're not paying him all this deferred money to get raked.
You and your 1.06 ERA are humiliating us.
What have you done for me lately? This is sports.
There it is.
I don't care what you did last year.
Well, lately, he hit a home run, right?
He did a home run in the 9th inning. And
they were down
brought him to
9-6, got it to 9-8.
Yeah. Yep.
And home run number 2 for Fernando Tatis. A low screaming line drive that barely cleared the wall. And the Padres won on a walk-off.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Patrick Mahomes, we told you yesterday his contract got reworked. Turns out he is now owed $504 million, $500 million through 2033. They extended it, pushed some of that money out. Probably won't this time.
I wonder why his wife's always smiling in every picture I see of her.
Life is good, man.
And his incentives can push it to $522 million.
Well, I hope he comes back healthy and does his thing for a few more years. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, but do they have a good enough team around him? Or
well,
are you looking at?
I'm talking about him doing his
just
thing.
being fun. Be a playoff team. The Super Bowl stuff.
We saw Aaron Rodgers do it. He won 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Not like he's, but it was fun to watch. And that's why my new favorite quarterback, without question, is Jackson Dart.
Who are the Chiefs chasing in the AFC? Denver?
Everybody.
Buffalo? More than that? Those are the top 2 in my mind right now.
But I mean, they didn't make the playoffs, so they're literally chasing
They are
everyone
chasing a
who
lot
did.
of teams. Yeah. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Your feedback's next. Stay with us.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's time for your feedback. What do you have to say about today's show? What are you thinking? Steve, imagine being up by as many as 29 points and feeling like you still should hoist up 15 three-pointers. Ridiculous. Steve is incensed.
Yeah, I think you got to play smarter.
Yes.
And I'm of the class of people who I think it's very large. Don't be tentative. The prevent defense prevents you from winning and all that stuff. But I think in this case it's a little bit different. There was no need, particularly when you've gone cold, which is understandable. No team is hot from three for 4 quarters.
So you can be aggressive without taking an early shot. When the quick shot bugs me. The stand in the center court circle and dribble the clock down to 5 bugs me. You're stalling your momentum. It's going to be way easier to get a stop. Run your offense. When the Spurs run their offense, when there's 4, 5, 6 passes, they move the ball side to side, they get good shots on the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks can defend them for a while, but they get good shots. And we've seen that throughout this series.
Well, if it's an early shot in the shot clock, but it's a good shot close to the basket and percentages are strong, take it.
And they have done that. They've caught the Knicks sleeping. That's actually when they've hit Wembanyama with some lobs. The Knicks are ready for the whole side to side. He cuts to the hoop and
yeah, I mean, if you've got a lob to him, take it. I don't care if there's 1 or 23 seconds left. But just be smarter. Don't be cautious to the point of, well, we've got the lead. We've got to hold the ball. That's not what I'm saying. But 3 of 17 and 12 of the 17 were taken with more than double digits, at least double digits on the shot clock.
Too early.
Yeah, and I'd have to investigate literally every shot, and I don't remember every shot. Sure. You've called up a couple of them. We can do that. But you got to be smart. And so I would say play a little smarter. Mitch Johnson said a thing in the postgame. I didn't see it because I went to bed, but I saw it this morning in my preparing for the show, was, hey, we're down 3-1. I'm not taking anything away from the Knicks, but we think the 3 losses were on us more than the 3 wins were on the Knicks. And I can see that mindset. Certainly 2 of them are inarguable. Those games were had. Now, you don't know that if Wembanyama doesn't throw that ball off of Castle's back, that they actually win the game, but you can see where they're going. You have the ball, you have the lead, blah, 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 blah. Statistically, if they did the ESPN, what do they call it, prediction to win thing?
Win probability.
Yeah, there you go. That it would have been extremely high. So I get where he's coming from. That's why I still think this thing is a series. And the Knicks have an opportunity to really break a lot of celebrities' hearts.
Who'll be more crushed? Spike Lee. Jerry Seinfeld,
John McEnroe's a
Larry
hardcore.
David, John McEnroe, Derek Jeter, or Taylor Swift.
Hey, Timothy Chalamet, come on.
Timothy Chalamet.
I don't know that
Which
Swift
Jenner?
is a long time.
Kylie.
Okay.
Wait a second. You never, ever get your Jenners confused.
It's just the Kardashians I should be getting confused.
You might be able to get something that rhymes sort of with Jenner confused.
Should we just end the show now? I mean, we could. It's 9:57.
You have to know that. Who is that, Yak?
Timothy Chalamet?
No, the gal.
Kylie Jenner.
You have to know that it's Kylie, not Kendall. You have to.
You ask which one.
That was a setup.
I know it was. I just liked it. Let me enjoy it, will you?
Well, there might be some people out there who didn't know.
That's true. They don't realize it. I can see the look in your face.
I know you could. I wasn't saying it for you.
You can't forget the name of what's her name.
Wait for it. Wait.
It just dawned on me that would be a bit that would work.
There are people who go to work between 7 and 7:30 and they just don't know this about you.
Well, get on the podcast,
That's why you podcast it.
Hey, and if you did miss the podcast today, that was Matt Brown was good, founder and publisher of Extra Points newsletter, talking about Texas Tech and everything that's happening there and where that's going and how appalled and aghast the rest of college football is and how much Texas Tech does not care. Brian Geltzeiler joined us, SiriusXM NBA radio and NBAtv contributor. He was really good on the NBA Finals. Made a lot of good points.
Yeah.
And I thought they were good because I agreed with about 99%. The one thing he said I didn't agree with is when he was talking heat checks, he was running through players, and I was fine until he said Champagne, because that guy was never hot. He was 2 for 9. He was 1 for 7. His heat check was from
he
was acting like it, but he was heat checking from Game 3.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't think he was heat checking from the first half.
Was the first half of Game 3?
He was. Yeah. He hit like 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Unreal. But they're paying him $3 million, and so he's not expected. He's a role player. He's not expected to do that.
I'm fine with a
every
heat
game.
check as long as it's a good shot.
But that's the nature of heat checks, as they aren't. It's a bad shot, but because I'm so hot, it's okay to take this. So
that's
built
going to
within
cool
the
your heat check then.
That's exactly Geltzeiler's point. Exactly.
Exactly.
And that's enough exactlys.
We forgot about our biggest celebrity, Fat Joe. Come on.
Fat Joe.
You got a shout out from
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown. Fat Joe's
with the
looking
chains
good.
and the reflections and all that
You got the biggest shout out of the night.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to do it for us. For Jake Hatch, for Patrick Kinahan, and Joe Klein, I'm David James. He liked that.
That was good.
All right.
I liked it too.
Stay with us. Coming up, the coach. I know, but he only reacts to you. He didn't like to react to me. The coach, Tim McComb, Scotty G, next right here on The Zone.
Thumbtack presents Tile Trouble. Every single time I use my sink, I make eye contact with the uneven grout on my kitchen backsplash. The crooked corners eye me, and I'm haunted by more tiling questions than I thought possible. What kind of pro can fix a backsplash? Can I replace one cracked tile, or should I replace them all? What if I just use Thumbtack? I can hire top-rated pros, read reviews, and compare prices with a tap, all on the app. Thumbtack knows homes. Download the app today.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.